Rohit, great to see you.
Hi, Ben.
Thank you for joining me. I'm joined by Rohit Sinha, Vice President of Managed Services here at 66 Degrees. We're in our beautiful new Pune office.
Absolutely.
Rohit, thanks for joining me. Would love to have you introduce yourself.
Yeah. Thanks, Ben, for introducing me. My name is Rohit Sinha. I'm the Vice President for Managed Services for 66, and I take care of almost everything and anything which comes from managed services, from agents to infrastructure to cloud, you name it, all of it.
Fantastic. Rohit, one topic I want to talk about today is at 66 Degrees, we have the vision of building the agentic enterprise.
Yep.
And so we spend a lot of our time right now building agents into workflows to transform workflows and help companies transform their businesses. But what we're encountering quite a bit here is that companies are starting to encounter challenges with management, observability, governance of these agents and agentic systems that are building into their businesses as they transform their businesses. Could you talk a little bit about these challenges you're seeing?
Yeah. So as part of any technological evolution which we have, first it is about using it on a day-to-day basis, trying to scratch the surface, trying to get in there. There's nothing different with usage of agent as well in that context. Right now, the industry or the businesses across the globe are looking at trying to build agents, have fallen into the bandwagon of trying to build agents, which poses a serious issue going forward when you have an ecosystem of agents. And how do you make sure that there is a governance layer on top of it? How do you make sure the compliance layer is on top of it? Right now, they are all making it in isolation, but at some point of time, and I think that's a gap in the industry right now, where everybody is looking at creating it, but the real return on investment for those creations will come when you effectively manage it for a longer time. And that's where I think the agentic managed services, managing a managed services layer on top of agentic ecosystem is the name of the game going forward, which will make sure that the governance is in place, because agent creation in AI is very powerful. Everybody knows that. We have to ensure that it is governed perfectly. We have to ensure that it is administered perfectly. If not, it might just become counterproductive for the organizations going forward. So I think there is a major shift of not only making agents, but making sure they are relevant and under the security compliance guardrails going forward. So I think there is a paradigm shift right now in the market of bigger enterprises now realizing the fact that this is going to be the next step of making sure we have agentic ecosystem which is sustainable for a longer term, hence a service on top which could ensure that it runs perfectly.
I love where you began, Rohit, in this, is that as enterprises have adopted technology, and I think about cloud technology, I think about business applications, I think about even our latest wave of data estates.
Yep.
And how companies have transformed their data is companies have adopted technology. Their people have adopted these technologies. They have applied these technologies to improve their businesses. But then they're left with a problem. They're left with a problem. How do you manage these technologies?
Exactly.
Because these are key parts of our process as we've redesigned some of our processes for now AI and agents are part of this. If one of these technologies fails or doesn't necessarily do what it should, then our business process fails and our customer experience falls down.
Correct.
So talk me through a little bit as you over the course of your career, you've built managed services practices where we've served cloud,
Yep.
we've served data estates, and now we're serving the agentic enterprise.
Correct.
You walked through the problems before. How are you solving those problems? Kind of what problems are you solving, and then how are you solving them as you build your practice here?
Yeah, I think like any other evolution of any technologies, again, there will be a certain degree of managed services in there. But with agents, it's different. Before this, managed services constructs have always been around very deterministic, controlled conditions like RBAC conditions like having access issues and things of that sort, which needs to be solved first. I think there is a major shift in AI, because from managing deterministic, what this needs to be done from a reactive approach, we are now getting to a point where we are managing agents, which means we need to understand their chain of thoughts, which is very different from how a managed services is done. So many of the organizations, enterprises in the market are trying to use the traditional managed services approach for agentic management, and that's not going to work. It is going to work when you look at agent from a deterministic standpoint. You look at an agent from a perspective of what is the value it is giving. And I think most of the organizations right now are struggling to figure out that value, a quantitative value of what I'm getting out of the agents. And most importantly, there is an element of human in the loop for agent management, which is very different from a traditional managed services. We have never done that. I don't think so. The industry has ever done it like that. So the management of agentic ecosystem is a different ballgame in my our opinion compared to what a traditional managed services will do. Just to give you an example, you expect an agent to do a particular job, right? For example, it goes through a process and does a job, and there is an execution. There is a trigger which is fired to do something. How do you govern that? How do you ensure that that agent is not going through administrative overreach? When do you get a human in the loop? How do you measure how do you put a monitoring in place that when the human in the loop will come into picture? And to do that, we use there are a variety of tools in the market which can be used. We use extensively langchain for doing this, where we look at how the hallucination is being managed. Is the agent doing what it is supposed to do? Versus, because it's a matter of time before the data changes or the ecosystem changes, and then it starts hallucinating. That's one part of the story, which is the first thing which you manage out of managed services from a monitoring standpoint. Second is, how do you manage the prompt? The prompt ops is a major game. You have to understand prompts as production level code, just like we manage any production level code. Then you have situations where you have to look at chain of thoughts. What is your agent thinking through? What was its chain of thought? And most importantly, when do you put your human in the loop? When is there administrative overreach? Does agent say that I need to drop a table? When do you stop that? Those sort of things. And those are the things which you need to monitor to get to a point where you know for sure that I have full control on what the agent is thinking, what the agent is doing. And then you underpin this on top of dashboards which are more from economic standpoint. A major part of in everybody of us will remember when the cloud evolution happened, major part of it was around FinOps, financial operations. Is nothing different in agents as well. You have token wages. There can be situations where your agent just keeps on running for 8 hours, and by the time you know that it has been running recursively for 8 hours, you have lost a lot of money anyways. So it becomes counterproductive. You're trying to use agent to solve a problem, but it's become counterproductive. That's why a managed services, a robust managed services setup on top is absolutely necessary, preferably during the start of the journey, not after you create it.
Yeah, Rohit, it's a couple of thoughts come to mind. First of all, I want to congratulate you on in this space of specialists, in the space of data and AI specialists. There's not many companies that have managed services arms. Is what I would say is, what you've been able to allow us to do is build an end-to-end offering where you move from lab all the way through the end to the end of actually caring for the solution that we've built.
Correct.
Be that a cloud, be that a data, or be that an agent, an agentic workflow at this point. And what I think that has done, well for us to be able to serve our clients, especially as what I'm seeing a lot right now. And the second point I want to make is our customers building a lot of agents, adopting AI and some of their SaaS platforms, but then adopting their own agent platform, be that Gemini or be that another agent platform, and then building agents into their workflows. It's a massive market shift, multi-billion-dollar industry of building agents into workflows. But what I think, a lot of, CIOs and even COOs and CEOs haven't quite thought is to say, I'm building the workforce of the future that know how to work with agents and the agents themselves. How am I going to manage this?
True.
And that's the next wave, which so not only can we 66 degrees provide value for our customers in building these agents, but we can also manage these agents. Walk me through, if you can, look out 4 or 5 years from now, where is the industry? Where is the industry, and particularly where are companies that have built the agentic enterprise and where are they working with partners to help manage those agents, and what does managed services look like half a decade from now?
A couple of thoughts come to my mind when I think about it, right? Number one is 4-5 years is a lifetime in industry, in the industry we work in, right? Uh, Even though we see a lot of these AI agents being coming into the market and a lot of enterprises investing on it, my personal view, and I think 66 view is also that we are just scratching the surface right now.
It's the first inning.
Yeah,
So
it is just starting off.
Yep.
There's a long way to go. We are still scratching the surface, and all of us are getting excited with the fact that what this can do. So with great power comes great responsibility. How do you make sure it is responsible when you are doing it? We have still, in some industries, we might have gone to an extent, but we are still very naive when it comes to going beyond mundane tasks right now to use AI in, right? But as and when going 3-4 year 5 years down the line, first of all, the power of agents will increase. Newer LM models will come into picture. Newer technologies will come into picture to support this. It is going to get quicker and deeper, and that's where the fear is. That if it starts, it's a matter of time when it starts getting into business processes in different areas of businesses across the globe, and that's when you need more tighter, more robust governance model, more robust management system, more robust monitoring systems to ensure that it is being followed. Because that point of time, agent will start touching what is called the heart of your business, and if it starts hallucinating at that moment, it's going to be catastrophic. So 4-5 years down the line is a long time, but I can definitely say we'll come to a point where it will be an protocol driven agentic ecosystem across the globe, with agents talking to agents across different businesses, across different business processes. So from a managed services lens, if I look at it, managed services is going to get more and more complex with this, because the more complexity you add to the system, higher is the degree of monitoring which is required, higher is the degree of control, higher is the degree of governance. Imagine if you write one wrong code, or I'll not say wrong code, but if your agent hallucinates to a point where it does something which is not supposed to do in a business process, it might take even months to figure out where did that go wrong. And that's why it is important that you have monitoring at the level, and it is inculcated at the top of design when we call a shift left. And I think that is something which is, I still think there are organizations who are thinking about it now, thinking 4-5 years down the line, but I still think that is a gap in the industry, and I think that is a major opportunity for everybody, all of us, to use AI more responsibly going forward.